Hey, Fragrance family, I'm David.
I'm Jer.
And we're the Fragrance Bros.
This is going to be a home run of a review.
Coming to this time again with another fragrance review, this time on Odin 04 Petrana by Odin,
yes.
Of course. Alright, so the date introduced is, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Again, I looked at this for a while, couldn't find a date release.
Yeah.
They don't have one on Fragrantica, and I couldn't really find one. I saw a review for this back in 2010.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that it was at least 2010.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. They have, I believe, 7 fragrances in their line.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they skip 5, and there's 6, 7, and 8, and maybe a 9.
Okay.
I don't know. We were told by their marketing company, which I believe McGuire Steele is their marketing company, that 04 was their newest fragrance, which I don't believe is the case. That may be like maybe they just sent the press release from when it came out, and maybe it was the newest then.
Okay.
I have no idea if they have been released sequentially or if they put out a bunch at one time. I can't tell you. Don't know. I looked too and I couldn't figure it out. So whatever.
It's classified as a floral green. Notes are cassis, pink pepper, coriander, iris, violet leaf, heliotrope, orris root, vetiver, and white musk.
Nice. Good job.
All that,
yeah.
What did you get out of longevity out of this?
It was about 6 to 8 hours. It was average. It didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then the performance, I'll wait for the performance. The average for me.
Okay. Yeah, I got about average as well.
Okay.
A little bit. I would say. Yeah, I would say around 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, which is what.
Yeah.
What you could expect for a fragrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, I think this is an EDP.
Might be.
So I think that for an EDP, it may be a little on the low side, but still as a fragrance, 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Fine.
It has a lot of lighter notes. It's a fresh fragrance too. So.
It does. That's true. It's true.
What about for projection?
Projection, I felt like was. So when it first started, it smelled like violet leaf, and it really lasted, and it was pretty punchy.
Yeah.
But then when that kind of dried off, which I felt like it really kind of came away, I was left with this thing that didn't give me much at all.
Okay.
Performance. So what I'm trying to say is a lot in the beginning, and then really kind of became a skin scent after about 3 to 4 hours. Okay. On me.
I would say overall on me it was pretty average. I didn't really notice that much of a change on me, but I could smell it, and I would say it was just about the average range.
Okay.
Season, I would say this is best for spring and summer and daytime.
Yeah.
And purpose, I would say this is best for casual. I think this could do well at work too.
Yeah, I think so too. For me, I know people like to say work scents are light. Don't go too offensive, too strong. For me, I kind of like to go strong at work because I've been in my work environment for 8 years. I know everyone. There's no risk of me offending anybody or anything like that. So I like to really try whatever I want, heavy hitters or not.
Yeah.
So for me, this is a little light for a work scent. I
Okay.
like something a little stronger. But for the average dude, this is probably good.
Yeah. Very fresh and green, so it works well.
Yeah.
Works well in that situation too.
Dude.
What does this remind you of?
Well, no one has really. I don't believe anyone said this yet. But when I first sprayed it, I was reminded immediately of He Would by D Squared, and I mean the original one with the brown. I'll show the picture. I'll show real quick. And it reminds me of this one with the. This was their original release, and so He Would is heavy on violet as well, violet leaf. And so that is the opening is kind of similar. They play out differently. The violet leaf in He Would is a little crisper and brighter versus this one is a little more herbaceous to me, maybe. I don't know how to describe it. I'm kind of torn in between which one I like better. They're not exactly alike, but it does remind me of that. Anyways, the scent is like a violet leaf. It's got that kind of it's just got the violet smell. I don't really smell much iris. I think you said that you did. When it dries down, I just feel like I get like musk. Yeah. It's just straight musk to me. I don't get anything else. So that's kind of what I get out of this scent. What about you?
What this reminds me of, whenever I first smelled it, this reminds me exactly of what the air smells like after a rain. Ooh. Particularly in area where there's lots of weeds.
Yeah.
That spring up, like you're walking across a field or something like that. It smells exactly like that. So when I smelled it, it smells really rainy. Has that ozonic, damp, acrid smell and green smell.
Ozonic is a really good word for this.
Yeah. Now, violet leaf is an essential player in this, and that's very apparent when you smell this.
Totes.
That stays on almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And what I get mostly out of it is violet leaf. I do get iris, and I'll explain that later. And I get musk, as you said. Those are the main players I get out of this.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of is just there to support, really, the violet leaf.
Yeah.
But it supports the other notes as well. But those are the main three that I get.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of a sharpness about this that's interesting.
Yeah, I think, a quick sidebar. I think that also pick up a little bit of pink pepper.
Okay.
I think some of that spiciness, and maybe some of the sharpness may come from a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, I can see that.
A little punch to that violet.
There's a sharpness about this that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like whenever you first smell it, it kind of has that, it is really punchy, like you said.
Yeah.
It is kind of sharp. But then over time it kind of rounds off and dulls a little bit, but in a good way. And it's almost like the treble kind of dies down a little bit to bring out some warmth and body.
Yeah.
So this is a fresh and green scent, but it's different than your normal fresh and green scent.
Yeah.
Because it's not as bright as your normal green fresh scent. It's not as clean as your normal fresh green scent. But I like it.
Yeah.
I do smell the iris in here, and the iris to me smells more like the iris you find in Paprika Brazil. It's not like the iris butter type smell that you find in like Dior Homme Intense. It's more like just a light floral fragrance, light green floral fragrance or scent that you find in there. It kind of reminds me of Paprika Brazil, but way better than Paprika Brazil.
God, what's not?
That's right. much more wearable.
Yeah.
And which this is an interesting comparison because there's pepper in here, there's iris in here, and it kind of has that. It almost turns plasticky, but not as much as Paprika Brazil. So this is almost like Paprika Brazil light.
Yeah.
As this is, if this Paprika Brazil was this, it would be a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of see some comparisons there, but they don't smell the same.
Yeah.
There's also a sweetness about it. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
And I think it's either cherry or raspberry, but like a Jolly Rancher candy. And I don't know if you get those anywhere else in the world. I know you can get them in America, but it kind of has that type of sweetness about it.
Yeah. When I first smell this, the feeling that I get is a rapier.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a raper. The very thin sword.
Right.
Because it seems thin and sharp to me, the way that it kind of hits my nose, bam, like that. And then as it dries down, it kind of, to me, it kind of just falls apart a lot. And then I just feel like it's kind of like paper towels or toilet paper on the floor, just like a white musky kind of laying down on my skin, but it's not really doing much. But I do think this scent has, like if I could pair this with like an outfit, I would say that you could wear, if you had like a pair of dark jeans and like a white button down and some nice shoes and you were going out with some friends, I think this scent kind of fits that image to me of, you're not dressed totally casual. You're dressed up enough to like go hit on a chick and probably take her home. But at the same time, it's still like a laid back kind of thing.
Yeah.
To me, so it's a good scent.
Bang for buck. This is $125 for 100 ml.
Okay.
I think Odin does a perfect job at pricing their products.
Yeah.
It's just above the $100 threshold, which I think is an important threshold in pricing fragrances, but it's right there.
Yeah.
And for 100 ml.
Yeah.
And I think for this one in particular, you get fair performance out of it, and it's a fresh fragrance. It's inoffensive.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it, especially if you like it.
Yeah. If you like this kind of scent, I like this price range. I think this is one of those sweet spots where it's not designer, it's niche,
Right.
but it's affordable niche. $125 for 100 mil is probably one of the cheapest niches you're going to find.
Right. Yeah.
And this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Sirius House.
Yeah.
In their price. Now, Sirius was $125 for 75 mil, so this is a better value than that. But they kind of have, like, this almost has the same feel to me as Sirius 7. You know what I mean? That kind of like, it had violet as well, I believe, in the opening. So
Yeah, it was violet flower.
violet flower. Potato. To me, I'm sure there's a difference. I don't, whatever. Anyways, I think it's a good bang for the buck. I do wish that it was the he wood thing. I own he wood, so that kind of hurts the bang for the buck for me, because I think you could probably get the job done for $40-50.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a really good offering for the Odin house, though, and I like their pricing structure.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you get out of compliments out of this?
I didn't get any compliments. No one seemed to smell it. I feel like it has a lightness to it that may not get noticed. What about you?
Yeah, my wife, she thought it was nice, but that was about it.
Yeah.
She didn't really give it that many glowing things to say about it. She smelled it, and it kind of took her a while. Whenever she was deciding, she's like, I think it's nice. You know,
Yeah.
kind of that type of thing.
That's not great.
Final rating.
I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I know that's a really safe rating, but nothing wows me about this fragrance.
Yeah.
Nor does anything off-put me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like I said, I do like the price point, and I do like the scent, but I just feel like it's not doing quite enough to really be like a buy for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna lay it at the 3 mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna also give it a 3 as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything bad about this fragrance for me in particular, but it didn't really capture my attention.
Yeah, totally.
Whenever I smelled it, I was like, this does smell nice. It smells good, but it's not a particular fragrance that I would want to buy.
Yeah.
And I think that it has some things that I think people will like. And so I think it's definitely worth smelling.
Yeah.
But if I had it, I don't even know if I would reach for it that much for me personally.
Yeah.
Unless it was a rainy day.
Yeah.
In the spring and summer, and then then I might on occasion. But
yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's a really good scent, but I don't know that it bests anything else in a Frag Lover's collection.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff I can think of that does the same kind of job but does it better to me. So I don't think that I'll reach for this over those. So,
yep.
3.
So that's it. Let us know what you think of Odin 04 Petrana. If you like it, love it, hate it, let us know in the comments down below. Of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like down below. We'll love you for it. We'll see you next week with another fragrance review. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.
Bye.